So in the time span of 1 month, I've already had over $1,000 of repairs to do on my car. My car broke down and wouldn't start, and I had to call a tow truck, and I'm already regretting getting a winter beater. Hey everyone, if you're new here, I'm Sasha and I have a 2016 Dodge Challenger RT, which I daily drive. Well, I used to daily drive until this winter, since I just got a winter beater. And I was daily driving my Dodge Challenger for the past 2.5 years in all the weather conditions that Canada has. The car that I decided to purchase for a winter beater was a 2009 Jeep Liberty, and it was just a little over $3,000, which is why I wasn't surprised that I had to fix a couple things on it. Initially, when I bought it, I knew there was a few things that I had to fix, like the wheel bearings and the windshield, since it had a huge crack on it. But then later on, I realized that I also had a coolant leak, and I had to get that fixed. The car wasn't even overheating or anything, but every time that I filled it up with coolant, it would just leak right away. That was the first thing that I had to get fixed after the initial repairs that I had to do on the car. And thankfully, it wasn't really an expensive fix. I only had to replace some clamps on some of the hoses for the coolant. The clamps were $30, but then with labor, it cost me another $150. So total for the first repair was $180. After that, the car was running fine for a couple of weeks, until one night when I was out and I tried to start the car and nothing would happen. The battery seemed to be fine, since when I was turning the key, there was still the heating on and all the power seemed to be working. But when I was trying to start it, it wasn't doing anything. There wasn't even a little click or anything. So thankfully, I had a friend who's a mechanic that was there with me, and he checked out the battery, he checked out a couple of things under the hood, and he tried to check out the starter, but for the Jeep Liberty, it's really hard to access it, so he wasn't able to do that, and I had to call a tow truck.
Flashback.
So just for context, it was a Sunday night at around 9:30 p.m. and when I called the tow truck, the first company said that it would take 2 to 3 hours for a tow truck to be at my location. So I would have had to stay in the cold until like midnight, and I didn't want to do that. So I called another company, which thankfully could get someone there within 15 minutes. So I was in a parking lot which was full of cars and it was pretty tight. So it was hard for the tow truck to maneuver to get my car out. And I think it took around 30 minutes or a little over 30 minutes. But finally we got the car out and we were ready to leave with the car. But then I didn't know where to bring my car. It's like Sunday night at 11 p.m. There's no garages that are open, so I didn't know where to drop off my car. And I didn't want to drop it off at home and then have to call another tow truck to bring it to a garage another time. So I decided to bring it to the garage where I got my coolant issue fixed a couple of weeks before that. So then after a $280 towing later, my car was dropped off at the garage. It stayed there overnight until Monday morning, where I had to go to the garage right when it opened to talk to them and drop my car keys. So shout out to that garage, because they were able to take me that day and they were able to fix my car the day of. So I got really lucky with that. And it turns out that the issue was one of the wires connected to it was just broken or something. And thankfully I didn't have to replace the whole starter completely. It only cost me $30 in the new wiring to fix, plus another $250 of labor.
End of flashback.
And that brings me to now, where I'm regretting getting a winter beater. But still, at the same time, I'm not really regretting it. We actually just got a huge snowstorm, and with the Jeep Liberty, at least I have 4-wheel drive, and I'm able to drive in the snow, which I don't know if you guys can see, but it's really bad right now. And that's something that I would have really struggled driving in with my Dodge Challenger, even though I've done it before. So the moral of the story is that if you purchase a cheap winter beater, be ready to pay for some repairs, because in most cases, you'll most likely need to do some repairs on it. Winter hasn't even officially started, and I'm already over $1,000 in repairs into my car. So who knows what's gonna happen in the next few months. But if you want to know make sure to subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below. The content might be a little different in the next couple of months while my Dodge Challenger is stored, but it should be interesting driving this car, so stay tuned. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a good one.